Rios, and I'm at El Paso Art Museum, and I will be analyzing an artwork by Cimi Alvarado, and it's called Lives and Works in El Paso. It is a print. So I will begin with elements and conclude with principles. I'll start off by saying that the art piece is two-dimensional since it is only visual form. As for line, the artwork does use a lot of line. Most of it is actual, like we see line throughout the bridge, throughout the fence of the bridge, the light poles, well, the flag poles and the light poles over here, the poles that hold the bridge, and the fence alongside it. These include curved lines, diagonal lines, horizontal lines, and vertical lines. And the art piece does have a lot of shape in it, and it's both geometric and organic. Geometric shape would include like a lot of the bridge, since it is like a big rectangle, and then you have the small rectangles along the fences. Over here you have more. And organic shape would include like the people and the different forms of them. There is no volume or mass since it's not a solid form. It also doesn't have linear perspective, but it does have vertical placement just because the people over here that are in the bottom do seem to appear to be closer than the bridge at the top. The people overlap the bridge and the background. I do believe it to have an atmospheric perspective, just because it does have an illusion of depth. Like we can almost feel the space and atmosphere being under the bridge ourselves. Now talking about hue, which is color, the artist did use both warm and cool colors. He used both high and low key of the color blue to do most of the painting. Like we see the light blue over here at the top. Well, that's actually high key blue. And then we see the low key over here at the bottom of the bridge, which is darker. We also see high key of red, like kind of like clouds or like the sunset is coming down. And we see a low key of yellow over here by the floaties and like the rough space over there. I would say though that the print is more like a cool rather than warm, just because it does have more blue in it. The texture is visual as it is only implied. We can't actually feel anything, but like for example, I'm gonna say that this wall over here, like it does represent, it is concrete, and then we see like the graffiti on it, so it does feel kind of rough. We don't actually touch it, but we can almost feel it ourselves. Now moving on to principles, I'll begin by saying that the artist does use good design, like the way he organized it. He did really make a good composition out of it. There is no unity because we don't see too much of just one shape, but there's variety because we see different things such as the bridge, the fence, the walls, the people, the background over here. I believe that balance, I already talked about it. There's also a great sense of balance within the picture. Well, it's more like movement, like we see movement, like this guy over here is paddling to go that way and they're all coming from this way. So, I mean, for me, that's balance just because I do feel it to be like equal on both sides. Not that much, but I do feel it. It's very asymmetrical because as you can see, one side will be considerably different than the other if we do divide it in half. I don't think there's any emphasis on or focal point or directional forces. It's more of just like a point of view from somebody seeing like this perspective. The artist did incorporate scale and proportion as the size of the objects are realistic and the proportion of them isn't fake. The people aren't bigger than the bridge and the bridge isn't bigger than the people, so it's like we don't focus on one thing, we're focusing on everything at the same time. I chose this artwork just because I found it interesting and I made a connection to it. I've been on that bridge myself and I feel like the artist was trying to convey a message about the hard work that many have gone through across the border, like many people. And like we see them going from one side to the other, which is, Mexico and America. And yeah.